Ladies and gentlemen, photo and video pros in the stands and watching at home, get ready, because tonight, it's business time. We're talking marketing and pricing and how on earth you manage those clients from hell. From mini sessions to the big leagues of the corporate world, calling the plays, breaking down the tactics, you coach, you host. Here he is, Daryl Stringer.
Today, I want to talk about something that can finish off a really good photography business, and that's complacency. It's one of those things that creeps up on you when things are going well, and it can lead to the closure of a lot of businesses. So here's my question for you as we get things started today. What's one area in your business that you've been complacent about in the past? Drop a comment and share it, because most problems to do with complacency don't end a business overnight. They show up bit by bit, just a little at a time, and we don't notice their collective problem until they've stacked up on top of each other. In a moment, we're going to have an open mic Q&A where you can call in and talk to me live, or you can just drop a comment if you'd prefer. I'd love to hear your questions and then help you with something in your business. That's what the Build a Photography Business Show is all about. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Daryl Stringer. My background is that I ran a photography business for 17 years, and for the past 11 years, I've been a photo and video business coach where I help amazing people build strong, viable businesses, and that's what I want to help you with today. All right, to get things started, let's kick off with, click on, there we go.
This week.
All right, have you had a win this week? What's been a great thing that has happened for your business? Like, did you have a great photo shoot? Did you get a new client? Did you get a new team member? Did you get just some great feedback from a client of yours? Whatever it is, please share it here, because I know some photography businesses are pretty quiet at the moment. So hearing you share a quick win is just really encouraging for everyone else out there. All right, let's jump on to...
It's time for open mic Q&A. Drop a comment or call me live today.
All right, so what this is an open mic question and answer time. Again, let me just try to click through things there. So you're welcome to just leave a comment on whatever platform you are on right now. But if you're joining me live, you can actually call in like a radio show. I've got a link there you can see on screen, buildapphotographybusiness.com/live. If you go there, you can click on the link to call me here in the studio. You can go with your webcam on or off. So feel free to jump on there. While we're waiting to see if anyone has any questions, if you'd like to talk with me about business coaching and just see if it's a good fit for you, feel free to schedule a Zoom call with me. I'd love to talk, or just send me a message if you prefer. I work with photographers from advanced to beginners, so I'd be happy to have a chat with you about that. All right, I've got a question for you. What's your biggest strength right now as a business? The thing you know you do better than most. Drop a comment. Let me know where your business is really strong, because knowing where you're strong is great, but sometimes we take it for granted, and we all do this. I got a message this week from a photographer who said, let me just bring it up here. We are at the top of our game with photography and video. We've got the best clients, so we don't need a business coach. Now, that's an interesting statement. In my view, that business could be gone within 2 years, not because they suddenly become bad at photography, but because success can turn into complacency if they would ever take that success for granted. And this is why complacency is such a problem. It shows up as small drops in your management and oversight of the business, but it builds up over time. So maybe you stop reviewing your numbers, you stop reviewing what you deliver to your clients, and you assume that your reputation will carry you forward and everything will be all right. That's complacency. And that's where it's potentially very expensive because if it takes hold, it can push a really good photography business into decline, and that business ultimately has to close. So, I've got a question for you all. What's one area you think you might be getting a little complacent in right now? Is it marketing systems or finances or anything else? Um, Drop a comment. I'm really interested to hear your honest assessment of your business. What's one area where you might be getting a little complacent right now? All right. While we're talking about complacency and living off your business name, and whenever I think about this, I go back to a story from my own family. My six times great grandmother lived in London in the mid 1700s. Her name was Elizabeth Shakespeare. And Elizabeth was the daughter of a William Shakespeare, not the William Shakespeare, the famous writer, died about 120 years earlier, but a relative of that line, a cousin, we think, of the playwright. And although she started out comfortably enough, circumstances changed, and Elizabeth Shakespeare found herself living in poverty, relying on the support of the local church to care for herself and her two young children. Now, remember, this was in the 18th century, and William Shakespeare, the playwright, was absolutely revered to the point where Shakespearean works accounted for roughly a quarter of all theatre performances in London at that time. So having that name was a huge thing, but it wasn't enough for Elizabeth and her children. And I kind of think that that's a bit of a lesson for business owners who say, we're at the top of our game, people know who we are, everything's fine, because your name isn't enough. Your reputation, your we're the best in town confidence, it sort of feels like everything will roll along comfortably just as it is today. You've got a well-known business, everything will be fine. But in business, the gap between top of your game and out of the game is pretty small. You get complacent for like 12 months and you can crash and it's all over. And that's why even very successful businesses need someone outside the business who can provide advice and be a sounding board for the business owners to help them avoid becoming complacent. It doesn't matter how brilliant the business owners are, they benefit from the outside perspective and accountability. So, what I think this means is that if you're performing at a high level, if business is doing great, you're really strong, you've got great clients, bringing in someone like a business coach or an advisor from outside may not be about getting more clients. Like that may not be the real goal there. There are other ways that a coach or advisor could be helping a business like yours. So, for example, a business coach has hopefully worked with hundreds of businesses and they bring all of that experience to your situation, all of that learning across hundreds of situations and everything. That's all brought into your business. And that's not something you can possibly get on your own. They can also keep you focused on the bigger picture of what you need to be doing, whereas you might be focused on just some of the day-to-day stuff and dealing with your clients rather than seeing things from that bigger picture point of view. Maybe they can help you identify the systems that you should have in place, the things that you missed for whatever reason. They can work with you to sharpen your positioning, and that can have a huge impact on how you're perceived within your market. That impacts on pricing and the kind of clients that you work with. They can see blind spots and risks early on, like maybe an over-reliance on a few clients or burnout from having too much work. And like finally, maybe they can help you plan and implement that plan to take your business to the next level, whatever that looks like for you. So if you're thinking we are at the top of our game with photography and video, we've got the best clients, like that overconfidence in your own internal capacity to spot things and know what to do, it's a risky position to take. And that's why a business like that needs someone on the outside, a coach, an advisor, a mentor, just to help watch over things and just be that external point of view. So, look, whether you want to talk with me about that or any other business coach, you don't have to work with me, of course, but please work with someone who can help you avoid becoming complacent. Don't try and do this all on your own, no matter how secure you feel today, right? No matter how much work you're getting in today, because your name and reputation, even if it's Shakespeare, your name is never enough to carry you through. So just as we finish things up here, and I'll answer any questions you have, here's what I want you all to take away from this. So first of all, your reputation and your past wins aren't protection. Even a strong name can't guarantee the future. Secondly, complacency is a very real risk when things are going well. It often shows up and you just don't see it. Thirdly, if you want to stay at the top of your game, you need someone outside the business who can keep you sharp, who can see your blind spots and just help you make strong decisions and avoid becoming complacent with things. And again, that's where a business coach or someone can help, even if you've got the best clients and business is doing well. And look, if you are watching live, I'd love to hear from you. Do you have someone outside the business who can advise you and guide you? And if not, do you think some kind of business coach or advisor could possibly help you? Again, whether you work with me or not is totally up to you. But if you would like to have a chat, feel free. Be happy to have a talk with you, do a Zoom call, answer any questions you have. Totally not pushy at all. I know that can be a risk. You think, what do I want to get into? This could be just a pushy sales call. Not how we do things. So if you want to meet up and have a chat, happy to do so. All right. Let me just see if anyone has any questions. I'm just having a quick look in the comments. I can't see any there. Hello to the people watching currently on Instagram. Good to see you. But does anyone have any questions that you want to talk about, whether it's related to what we've already talked about in terms of complacency and what you might be able to watch out for to help you not become complacent and just fall into the trap again, especially if you're performing very, very well. If business is great, that's awesome. What we want to do, though, is put things in place to help you avoid falling from that height and making sure that your really strong business continues going forward. If anyone has any questions, as I'm just looking around here to see, and I'm just looking in there. Again, if anyone wants to call in and talk with me live, be happy to. You don't need to have your webcam on. I'm happy if you just want to talk, radio style, happy to do that. But if you do want to be on a Zoom call with me or on this call with me, feel free. Just go to buildaphotographybusiness.com/live and you'll be able to click through the link and we'll be able to have a bit of a chat if you want to. So I'm just waiting just to make sure anyone doesn't have any further questions or comments. For those who have just recently joined, we've really just been talking about the risks of complacency for a business that it is really performing well. I got this comment, let me just drop it in here, recently from a business saying, we're at the top of our game with photography and video. We've got the best clients, so we don't need a business coach. So I've just been talking through the risks associated with having that position. Again, whether that's me or someone else, there's just so much advantage in having someone outside your business who you can talk with, you can bounce ideas off, and who can give you that extra perspective on things so that you're not trying to do it all on your own. You're missing things, and that's where complacency kicks in. Wherever you are as a business, doesn't matter if you're just a beginner or if you're well established and you've got a team of 4 or 5 photographers. It's still really easy for that complacency to kick in and for your business to miss things. And before you know it, some competition is jumping in and doing things here. All right, just got a question here from Keith. Hey, Keith, good to see you there. It says, I'm very new and I don't know how to send pictures to Auto HDR. Look, if you're using any kind of editor, honestly, probably best to have a chat with them. My understanding with a lot of those different platforms now, like the one you mentioned, it's really easy to just upload the images into them. I'm pretty sure they do handle that. So I would just be uploading the images through their on-site platform for that. Does anyone else have any other questions as I'm looking around? Let me just see in here. Okay. Just while I'm waiting, just to see if anyone else has anything. Another comment that I've seen, or a question I want to put to you actually, is what's one area you think you might be getting a little complacent in right now? Is it in your marketing? Is it in your systems? Is it finances? Or is it anything else? Feel free to drop a comment in and share where are you getting maybe a little complacent, or where do you maybe just see some risks where it's easy to get complacent in your business? And maybe what are you doing at the moment to try to mitigate that and just cut that off before it becomes too much of a problem? Because it very easily can. I've seen it happen far too many times. So just wanting to hear from you, what areas are you becoming complacent in? Again, does anyone else have any questions? Good to see. Hi, Anita. Good to see you've joined in as well. To everyone else there I'm seeing on Instagram, glad you could join in. We're just continuing to talk through any questions that come up. If anyone has any business-related questions, I'm here, happy to talk, answer anything in. I'm just jumping onto the other platforms here as well, because we're going out to a few different places. No, I'm not seeing anything there. I'm not seeing anything there. Okay. So yeah, if anyone has any final questions, we'll wrap up fairly soon if anyone doesn't. Keith, probably best, look, drop me a message. Happy to just send you a link if you want full details on what I do, and that'll give you all of my pricing. So I can message you there if you like, or just send me a DM or send me an email. Again, if you want to find out more, if anyone wants to have a chat with me, builderphotographybusiness.com/meeting. We can just do a private Zoom call, and happy to answer any questions there as well. Or if you just want to email me, you can find my email address there on my website as well. So just jumping back in here. Okay, cool. Again, any final questions or business-related questions from anyone? So again, today we've been talking largely about complacency, but if you've got any other business-related questions that you have on marketing or pricing or your website or social media content or whatever it is that you might have, feel free, like bring it up, and I'm happy to have a bit of a look and see what you're going through. To others who are just joining in now, welcome along. We're just not far off the end. So, yep, Keith, all right, great. I see you'd like a Zoom call. Awesome. Again, just go to that link there if you want to book that in, and we can go through that, find a time that suits you then. Any final questions again? Does anyone have anything here as I'm looking around on the different platforms? Just check in on here. I'm not seeing anything there on Facebook or YouTube. Anyone else on Instagram who has any questions or comments? Again, what we're looking for is just some general business-related questions. Let me just go in here. If I got it listed. This one. Yep. So if anyone has any questions, things that we often sort of address here are things on feedback on social media posts. If you want some thoughts on your website, if you would like me to answer a question about your business, or a general business question if you have it, happy to help and have a chat if that's useful at all for you. Feel free. Just wanting to make sure I've got everyone covered, and none of you are sort of waiting and thinking or wanting to jump on and chat just as we wrap things up here. So feel free if you want to jump on there and have a chat. Let me just drop in here. I'll drop onto that one. There we go. All right, I think then we shall wrap things up again. If anyone wants to message me during, like after the call, feel free. Just send me a DM, send me an email. I'll respond to anything that comes in. Happy to have a chat with you then, but glad you could join us today. If you missed this call, you'll be able to go back and watch it on YouTube or Facebook to see what we covered. We were talking about complacency and the risks for that for businesses that are even performing really, really well. So that's what we did today. All right. Thanks, everyone. Glad you could join me here today. Hopefully there's some help there for you, and we'll see you here next week at the same time. So jump on then and we'll chat again then. All right. Bye for now.